We're so lucky that they're here and opening up to really help us learn from their experience at Netflix, a teeny little company that I think everyone maybe hasn't heard of. Marc Randolph here, he was one of the co-founders of Netflix and was the first CEO of that. He's a serial entrepreneur and investor and Silicon Valley hotshot. We love you for that. Lorraine, where are you, Lorraine? Yes, she keeps him in check in case anyone wants to know. And this is Mitch, who we've all been seeing all day, our CEO of MoviePass. He was a co-founder with Marc at Netflix, and that's what we're really going to talk about today.
And I didn't know anything about the video business, and neither did Reed. I mean, we used to go, oh, big passionate movie buffs. Not really. I sat watching Lion King 100 times with my little kids. But so we said, we got to learn about this business. And so part of the learning is, okay, how much will it cost to build a website? What kind of a warehouse are we going to need? What's the technology? But we thought it might be a good idea to know something about movies and about video rental. So I go, I'll do some research. And I was reading, and I saw there was this trade show coming up called the Video Software Dealers Association.
Not drug dealers.
No, yeah, video software dealers.
Sounds riveting.
Well, this is where these used to be, probably not anymore, it doesn't even exist anymore, does it? Huge trade shows. I mean, massive, because this is where the studios would come and all the video store owners would all come, and they'd promote their new releases. Huge, 10,000 square foot booths. So I'm kind of going there trying to understand how the video rental business works. And then later in the day, at the end, I go, well, this booths here that are selling video rental store software. I wonder if I can learn something about maybe other software I've got to build. And I'm looking for where this section is, and it's, if you've been to trade shows, we call it the pipe and drape section, which are the little booths that are each like basically a card table with a little piece of cloth hanging over it and a little sign from a laser printer on the front. And that is their booth. And I walk up to one, and this guy comes out, and he's really sweet and really nice, and kind of, I'm going, oh, a sweet guy, and we're talking, and pretty soon he's going, I'm asking him about this, is the software, and he goes, you're not telling me everything. Yeah. And I go, well, actually, we're kind of thinking about doing this rental business. I'm looking for software. And he's really, really helpful. And I walk away and go, what a cool guy. And then about an hour later, I'm looking through the trade show guide, and it's about this thick. And on the front page, there's a big picture of this guy that I just met saying, welcome to VSDA, and it was the chairman of the VSDA. And of course, that was Mitch.
How did that chemistry start to unfold and bringing Reed into it and the way you guys really started to solidify what you wanted to do with this company?
So what you want to do is actually have something that hopefully a customer will do something with. And back then, starting a company was a very, very different thing than it is now, in that things were hard and nothing was off the shelf. So I said, okay, we're going to do this video business. We're going to rent videos online. We're going to have a video store on the web. Well, a simple thing to say, but it took 6 months to build that online. You couldn't go out and rent rack space in the cloud. You had to buy your own servers. You had to write your own server software. You had to write your own web. You couldn't buy e-commerce software. Everything was from scratch. So it took us 6 months and a dozen people just to get to the point where we could figure out whether anybody cared.
And what name were you calling this at the time?
So we had someone gave me this advice. He said, when you start off, you pick a random name, which is kind of your code name or your beta name. And someone's advice was, pick a terrible name for your beta name, because it's going to be so hard to find your real name, you're going to be tempted to use your beta name, and it's got to be so bad that you don't actually do it. And there's an Netflix trivia, it was Kibble. It's called Kibble.
Kibble?
Yep.
Like Kibble and
Mark
Bits?
used to drive me crazy. You'd always say something, the dogs will eat it. Or
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, Kibble and Bits?
It's a marketing expression, which is...
There was a couple of events that happened before that.
Please.
And one of them, you know, Mark was always kind of looking, how do we get the word, you know, because people would come to,
That's a great story.
would come to the site and use it once, but never come back. And we kept thinking, how do we get it top of mind? Because we were a la carte at the time. And so this was right around the time that President Clinton was being interrogated by the Congress. And I had this crazy Polish friend who, I don't know if you remember, in those days, if you made a DVD, it might work on a Sony player, but not on a Toshiba, or it might work on a Toshiba, it was a total mess. And it took weeks and weeks from production to distribution and manufacturing of a DVD. And I came to Mark with this idea that wasn't mine, it was my crazy Polish friend, who said, you know what, I think we can turn content into a DVD in 24 hours. And Mark's going, well, what kind of content? And I can't remember how we came up with it, but we thought, what if we put Clinton's testimony on DVD with chapter stops and everything, and do it all in 24 hours. And so Mark sent us out, and meanwhile Mark's brainstorming on marketing ideas, and it was, give us your 2 cents. And so
There's a piece to that.
Okay.
My brilliance was, let's just give it away for free.
okay, yeah, give it away for free.
So people can come to Netflix, and we will send you the DVD of Clinton's grand jury, whatever testimony he was doing, about the it was Monica Lewinsky stuff.
Right.
And then our CTO goes, can't do it for free. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's software. It won't let us do something for free.
Had to charge something.
We got to charge something.
And so the 2 cents came out. So it turns out it's a lot harder. It was a lot harder to do it in 24 hours. I think 2.5 days later, I showed back up at the office with a couple thousand copies. You know, hadn't slept in like 2-3 days and looked it. And so Mark got us a Wall Street Journal story. And of course, orders start flooding in. A couple days later, what happened?
So when you get DVDs, now you see them, they're all your silk screened with the name of it on them, or you put a label on it, so it's a very beautiful little object. But when you're going fast, you don't have time for the labeling. So Mitch goes, we can save time if we just take the raw DVDs on the spindle. So they come back and don't say anything. In other words, you can't tell what they are. You kind of know where this is going. So it turns out...
I don't think anybody knows where it's going.
It turns out that Mitch's Polish friend was using a duplicator who also duplicated pornography.
Oh.
And so I think we were selling thousands and thousands of these. But it turns out a couple hundred had porn on them. And of course, you know, in the interest of like connecting with our customer, we said, hey, send them back. We'll send you a real, did we get any back?
No, I don't think so.